The cards in the arcade version are to keep track of your character's progress. You accumulate money inside the game and then use it to buy the alternate costumes. Using that card, registering on your cell phone, etc. So what we've done is for the home versions, we're kind of imitating a similar system, wherein you can actually purchase these additional costumes, as downloadable content for both versions on PlayStation 3 and 360. So it kind of mimics the arcade game in as much as these are kind of separate, above and beyond sort of features that are accessible through something other than just playing the game itself. So it has kind of a sort of parallel to the way the arcade game works. I can tell you that we have deliberately engineered the game in such a way that it should be easy to play and feel good whether you're using an arcade stick or a pad, and that goes for the 360 or the PS3. If you're talking my personal taste, I think if I'm going to use the analog stick to control it, I would prefer the 360. Because of its placement and because of the way it feels good. But I think most people, whether they're playing on 360 or on PS3, are probably going to use the D-pad. And of course, like I said, the game itself has been engineered and tuned in such a way that it should feel quite natural and quite easy to play no matter which D-pad you opt for. Of course, I don't need to remind you guys, we have kind of an arms race going. Back in the 90s between Capcom and SNK, kind of trying to one-up each other with the new King of Fighters or new Street Fighter, new Versus game, whatever. We have kind of that tradition going, so I think it's great that, timing-wise, we're putting out a new fighting game, they're about to put out a new fighting game. I think we can both learn from each other and kind of piggyback on each other and start that competition up again. It should be good for both companies. I've actually had this discussion with Ikeno, the character designer who came up with Crimson Viper. I think what we're looking at is basically until now, if we're going to kind of separate characters into two categories of kind of wacky, for instance, and cool. Most of the Capcom fighting game characters have been on the wacky side, whereas a lot of the SNK characters have been on the cool side, so to speak. They wear interesting fashions and are kind of slick looking. So basically with Viper, our goal was to make a character that we hadn't had in Capcom games before. So we kind of went in the cool direction. It was a conscious attempt to go cool, but it wasn't a conscious attempt to go SNK. I think it just coincidentally looks that way because SNK has kind of had the trademark on cool fighting game characters until now. I'd like to avoid adding characters through downloads for the simple reason that I kind of view a game like this more as a tool, so to speak, as opposed to your standard kind of video game. It's more like a game of chess, let's say. So, I want everyone to have the same experience with the game. I want everyone to have access to the same pieces on the chessboard, so to speak. So I want the people that are offline and the people that are online to have the same 25 characters. I don't want someone who happens to be online while his friend isn't to be able to pay some money and he gets a new kind of bishop or something like that. It ends up being kind of unfair when these guys play against each other because they might not be at all familiar with this other character. They might not know the moves, what moves take priority, how to control them. So we're really deliberately trying to make this a self-contained product as far as characters are concerned. We really designed this game to be very easy to get into the online component of. What we've done to do that is, we added the challenge mode, which I spoke of before, which gives people a chance to really train in the more hardcore techniques of Street Fighter. So there's no, feelings that you're not good enough to get online. You have all the time in the world to practice before you try it without embarrassing yourself. And also the fact that you can have people join in while you're playing the arcade mode kind of lowers that barrier to entry as well. You're not having to sift through a bunch of lobbies and things like that. So hopefully people who normally wouldn't even play online will have no problem just jumping in and giving it a shot. Keep in mind that the history of Street Fighter is written by the fans and written by the players. So I encourage you to get online and make your voice heard. Thank you.